Alright guys, so today I'm going to also tell you about the most unreasonable person I've ever met. I'm going to tell you because I'm going to tell you this story as well because it's still fresh in my head. It actually happened just a few weeks ago. It was work related, but I've no names mentioned. I'm not venting or anything. You'll see what I did at the very end of this story. So I met probably the most unreasonable person I've ever met in my life just a few weeks ago, and I actually consider this person to be actually like pretty miserable as well, because generally I don't think anybody can be that unreasonable or that mean unless they're miserable. Like, that's just how I see it. I actually almost lost it at work. Literally lost it. I was like, like ready to just blow up and go on a rampage, take off my uniform, and just not represent the company I'm working with, and just go ape shit on him. But I didn't. I maintained composure, and I slowed myself down, basically. Like, when you're in a heated situation like that, sometimes all you need to do is just take a deep breath and just think, like, how am I gonna feel 6 hours later? I'm probably gonna still be a little bugged about it, but I'm not gonna be that worked up about it. Or either that, think about, if that still doesn't work, just be like, what am I gonna feel like 2 weeks from now? And be like, I probably won't even give a shit, and this will just be a story I'll tell somebody else. Which is what I'm doing right now. So, the most unreasonable person I've ever met was actually this dude that he was just picking up his medicine. I came into this situation literally on that day. So prior to this, I have no idea what the hell's going on with this guy, or his situation, or anything at all that's going on with him. And my coworker was also headed out the door, like he was off for the day, and I was just like, I'll take over, whatever he's dealing with, which was this guy. And man, I wish I never did, but I ended up taking care of it. So the thing was that it was just an owing that we owed him some medication for some stuff, and then the thing was that there was a shortage on it, but I couldn't do anything about a shortage. That's like when the manufacturer can't provide it, right? Now, know this, I only come into this information just now on the spot for this guy, like just the moment I've encountered him. Prior to this, I have no clue what's going on with him, or who he is, or what's going on. And then I look up, I look it up, and I was just like, "Oh man, it's a shortage, and it's an owing. I feel like shit already." And I look at the date on when this was given out to him, and it's already been about, I think it was about like a week or something, and we gave him only for like maybe like a week and a half. So he's clearly running out, and I was just like, crap. So what can we do? So I go talk to my boss, and then my boss says, "Oh, we can give him this one, and he can just take like half of it." So it's like twice the amount, but you just chop the thing in half, and he'll still have the same thing. But he didn't want it. So like I offered that to him, and I was just like, "Oh, you could just get this one. It's exactly the same medicine, just twice as much strength. There's a score in the middle. You can cut it in half, and you'll have the same medicine." And he was like, "No, I'll have the one I was prescribed." And I was like, okay." I'm like, "But there's a shortage on that, and the expected date for it to return is on January the 1st, which is literally like a month later." And he was just like, "Well, I want it now." I'm just like, we can't get it now, and it's not available. There's a shortage. The manufacturer cannot make it. We can't supply it. We can't get it from the supplier to dispense it to you. And like, these are the solutions for you. I can try calling the neighboring stores and see if they have anything. And okay, so he's like, and then before he even answers that, like, I'm trying to work out his problem. He starts going crazy at me, going like, he's like, "Why didn't anybody tell me?" I'm like, I don't know why, because I literally don't know why. It's the truth. I'm not gonna bullshit him or anything, or flip the page. I literally told him the truth, because I literally don't know. I went into a situation just then and there. That may have been poor customer service, but I really don't know why. So like, I'd rather just work on his problem now and move forward, not trying to discover why nobody told him that, because in my position right now, it's my duty to just get your problem solved as fast as possible and get you moving on. That's it. But this guy wanted me to do other things, such as answer the questions of why wasn't he ever told, which I have no idea, because I never even knew about this. two, I'm being blamed for it now. He was actually going like nuts. Well, I don't know if that's called nuts, but it was like talking to a brick wall basically. Anything I say to him just bounces off and deflects, and then it doesn't get received by him. So but I was still like just holding my ground, trying to help him out and just figure out the problem. I was getting a little agitated, and then I told myself, I'm like, no, don't blow up. It's not worth it. There will be more troubled customers. I work with medicine, so like you can understand like these people are sick generally. People coming in to get medicine, so on that assumption, everybody's sick. Whoever comes in to buy anything. So I'm trying to work out his situation, and then he tells me to go tell off like my coworkers, and I was just like, why would I tell off my coworkers? That's just gonna get me in trouble, and it's not gonna help you. And then he tells me again, like, why wasn't anybody telling me it's not available? So at this point, I gave up, and I actually just started mimicking him and started following his whatever he said. So he said something like, oh, why didn't, like, this is about the 6th or 7th time he said, why didn't anybody tell me it wasn't available? And then I was just said, it's not available now. Like, I just told you why, and I'm telling you now it's not available now. So now I'm just taking whatever he says. So if he wants to brick wall me, I'll brick wall him back. And then I wasn't really at that point, like when I gave up, I was just like, oh, okay, it's not available now. And then he was like, are you insane? I'm like, no, I'm just following what you said because I don't know how else to help you, because I'm trying to help you, but you're it's really hard to help you because you're unwilling to work with me. So that's how I put it down. I said sorry like maybe 4 or 5 times, and I don't even know what I was apologizing for. I apologized the first 3 times. First apology was I was sorry that nobody called him, and second one, I'm sorry there's a shortage on his medication, and third one, I'm sorry that this is like so troublesome. But the 4th and 5th time, I have no idea what I was sorry for. Once it's past that point, I actually start giggling internally, going like, God, if this guy just wants to like have me call the neighboring stores, I'll do that. And then I'm like, I can just call the neighboring stores and see if they have stock for it, even if there's a shortage. They might be in luck and they might have it. So, and then he didn't really answer that question still, if he wanted me to do that or not. So I don't know what he wants to do. He just said he wants it now at this store, from us. And I was just like, okay. I'm like, you're gonna have to wait then. It's not going to be now. You're going to have to wait like probably tomorrow afternoon. He's like, why not now? He's like, you go and get it from me. And then I said, I can't just leave the post right here and just go and get it for you all of a sudden. I don't even have a vehicle or transportation to go there. And I'm like, I gotta like get the paperwork for like for these people to like sign. There's paperwork. There's always paperwork in between stores. You can't just randomly transfer inventory from one place to another just nonchalantly like whatever. That's not how businesses work. It's kind of just common sense. If you ran a business, you wouldn't want your inventory just suddenly disappearing and ending up in another store without any trace of it. So I call the neighboring store. There's one that's like 5 minutes away. Literally 5 minutes away, or like 30 minutes if you go by feet, or like 7 if you go by bus. Because like I know the route too. I told him the route and everything, how to get there, and he was like, no, I want it here. I'm like, oh, okay then. He's like, why can't you just go get it from me? I'm like, I told him, I'm like, we can have it transferred between the stores, but it'll be like at least tomorrow afternoon. And then my coworker, and then like after all that was done, he was just like, he's like, okay, we'll go, man. It was like, it better be ready tomorrow afternoon. I'm just like, I hope so, because I don't want this to happen again. And then I found out that he's actually the only guy in the place that's on this thing. But man, it was tough. I've never dealt with somebody so harsh. It's just like, I can't help you if you're not willing to give me information to go on. Like I said, I came into this situation just then and there. First few minutes, all I get was just being told off by this guy on who knows what's going on. And I'm on the receiving end, and I was just like, crap. So after getting railed for about it was about a 15-minute dispute between me and him. I was really like angered afterwards. And I actually went to go blow off some steam outside, just for a few minutes, because like even my coworkers heard me from behind, and they were like scared to deal with the guy, and I'm like a lowbie grunt, whereas they should have been dealing with it. And my boss told me next time to just call him and get him down there to talk with him, not do what I did, which was try and solve the problem because I'm magnetized to problems for some reason. And the funny thing was, after all that, even getting railed and making and ruining my day, I during my break that shift, I went to the store that was 5 minutes away on my break. A coworker was willing enough to actually drive me there, so thank you so much for giving me that, little boost. Otherwise, I would have just taken the bus there on my own time during my 1 hour break. I had 1 hour to do it, so and that also includes like me having to eat my dinner and all these other things, because that's my entire allotted time for breaks. So I go down there, I go to that other store, and I pick up the stock. I look at the bottle, and I'm like, oh crap, it's the wrong quantity. I'm like, oh no. I'm like, don't tell me you didn't have enough. And then I told them I needed like X amount. And then I was going, oh crap. And then I had to wait another 10-15 minutes or so. So now I have about 45 minutes left on my break, including the travel time it took me to get there. I was lucky enough to have my coworker drive me there, so that was about an extra 8 minutes. So that was about 22 minutes. Yeah, it was about 23 minutes in. And then another drive back. So about half an hour of my break is gone just to get this guy's medicine. This is of my own choice, of course. It's not something I was obligated to do. And then what had happened next? Oh yeah, so I had it in my pocket, and the hell happened? Oh yeah, I had it in my pocket, and then I went back to the pharmacy, and then I ate my dinner at about the 40-minute mark of my 1 hour. I scarfed it down about 5 minutes. Spent the next 10 minutes walking over to a Starbucks to grab a coffee because I was so agitated and needed something to cheer me up. And then I made it back, dropped off my coat, and I did all that in 1 hour. So I had this guy's prescription now, which he could have easily gotten himself in 5 minutes time if he just took the bus down there. And yeah, I was just like, it's not like it was crazy late at night or like some unreasonable time, and it wasn't like the actually pretty decent weather. And then that's what I did for the most unreasonable guy, a guy who treated me unfairly, blamed me for a situation, and then I went out of my way to another store to pick up his medication, the exact one that he wanted to, and brought it all the way back of my own accord during my break. And I found out that I actually wasn't supposed to do that, so I actually sort of got in trouble for it a little bit. And that was kind of ridiculous now that I think about it, and I don't even know why I did it. And when I finished it off after my break, I called his place immediately and told him, hey, your medication's ready, my name's Kevin, and like I just went to the other store, got it for you, and it's all ready to go now. Click. And then that was the message. I was just like, why is nobody home? He was just like here moments ago. So I call again, and lo and behold, of course, somebody picks up this time, and I tell them, I'm like, oh, hi, my name's Kevin, and I'm like, blah, 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 describe the whole situation to him, or whoever's talking on the other end, and I say, like, oh, this person's medication is, like, ready. I don't know why I did it. Maybe I'm insane. I'm kind of curious, what would you do in that situation if somebody blames you for something you have no idea about, that you obviously are not at fault for, goes crazy at you, and you do everything in your power to help him at that point, and he's unwilling to help you, and then you go, and then at that point, this is where you make your decision after step 6 there, is what do you do? Do you forget about him? Do what I did, which is go out of your entire way, provide extreme customer service, and just Go to the other place, get it for him, and then go home. And then tell him it's all ready. Leave a note on there saying that it's all called and ready and whatever, and then he should come and pick it up. And so like any further incidents shouldn't happen. So you save your coworkers some grief too. I'm actually kind of curious what other people might do in this situation. But honest to God though, I should have just called my boss. Should have just told my boss to come down from his break to talk to him. Oh well, problem solved. Help somebody out, even though he made me feel miserable for the day. It was okay. I'm pretty resilient, not bad. Just gotta keep smiling and hope for the best. I mean, at the end of the day, there was no complaints, and I got somebody what they needed. So that's my story of the most unreasonable person I've ever met. I feel awesome.
I'm giving it to this person as a friend. Not may seem a little overkill, but I also have an exquisite card here made for them. Right there. Oh, it sniped me somehow. Fucking shit. Oh.